Hey guys, Adrian here for the DojoCast. This is episode 17 of the DojoCast, The Facebook Effect. Hey guys, I'm your host here, Adrian, Kid Guru, whatever you want to call me. Anyways, guys, today's episode 17. I know it's a little bit behind, a couple of days. Anyways, got some stories for you guys. It's been a busy week. A lot of releases going on. Not much in terms of anything really highly interesting. I mean, there's some pretty big news, but actually had a lot of the reason I guess I talked about a lot of these stories on another podcast, so I didn't want to mention a lot of them because I just got done talking about them, and that's the DWRTC podcast, which is the Dunks Web Random Tech Cast. If you haven't heard about this is a new podcast I do along with Duncan Mayle and Dan Valverde, where it's more of a laid back, random talk about technology and our lives and projects we're working on. You can check that out over at dunksweb.com or head over to youtube.com/mobilephone2003. Anyways, guys, today we're going to be talking about, we got about 7 or 6 or even maybe 8 stories here for you guys. I don't want to mention a little bit of updates along the way. But anyways, let's jump right into the news. So the first story of the day is Intel. Intel is releasing out their new Light Peak technology as of Thursday. Now, I talked about this in a previous video. Light Peak, which is the high-speed connection technology that Apple is also trying to adopt. I believe they're trying to adopt into the newer Macs, and it's according to some events, it's going to be, or I believe it is already set to be released this Thursday. Or what Light Peak is going to do, it says it's going to be released in San Francisco. We'll host a press briefing to discuss the new technology and what it's about and how it's going to appear in the market. It's said that it was supposed to be rolled out in the new MacBook Pros, but it's still a possibility. It's a rumor. Intel Light Peak has been talked about and worked on for almost, I'm not sure how many years, but it's been worked on for years and years. And the initial version would be copper based, as the time market says here. What do you call that? Light Peak is significantly faster than even current USB standard, which is 3.0 right now, which carries about 10 gigabits per second in both directions, up and down. Connection speeds will not be affected by the transition to copper, according to Intel. And in the future, Light Peak may scale to over 100 gigabits per second. Yeah, 100 gigabits. So not only this, Light Peak is also going to try not only add faster transfer rates with copper, but they're also going to try and simplify the connector by having a connector that can run multiple connections through one cable. So you don't need to have a FireWire port, a USB port, a mini USB port, all of those are, whatever it may be, whatever other ports there is, everything can be done through a single cable, and that, I guess there is really no mini USB ports on the actual computer, but everything can be done through one port. One single cable could be used, shook the desk there, could be used through Light Peak, so it would simplify the connector market. Obviously, this connection is going to be faster than 3.0, which is the newest standard. So definitely something to check out. Again, Intel Light Peak that should be coming out this Thursday in San Francisco. Alrighty, and of course, on the topic of San Francisco, I just have to get the Apple rumors out the way real quick. There is a big expectancy that March 2nd, the new iPad will be announced. And I just have my iPad here with me. Sorry, that's kind of a mess right now. Oh, my wallet's on there. Here's my iPad. This is the first generation. I've had it for a couple of months now. See, it's kind of smudged there on the screen. Anyways, the second version is said to be coming out. I've been really enjoying my iPad anyways. I probably always talk about every podcast. But anyways, iPad 2 is set to be talked about in San Francisco March 2nd. Apple is holding an event where they're most likely going to announce it and demo the product at this event. Now, according to Mashable, some of the rumors that they believe are the top 5 rumors that they believe are most likely to come true. We've heard a lot of rumors, from cameras to design looks, from rear facing to front facing. They talk about that, so I'm going to go ahead and read theirs first. So number 1, they say that the iPad 2 might come in 3 different versions with different connectivity, including the Verizon version that doesn't require a Wi-Fi card, and probably obviously the Wi-Fi's and all of that for regular one, and the 3G for maybe AT&T and Verizon, depending on how they do that. iPad 2 is going to have a front and rear facing camera. Now this is something that I can't see really people. I guess I can see kind of people taking pictures with an iPad. Kind of weird. Camera goes out of focus there. But I think this isn't really a picture device. It's more as that's what the iPhone's for, because it's portable. But possibly I can see it rocking a front-facing camera, maybe for video, because I guess it's better to have video on this because it's bigger and it's more immersive. But maybe a front-facing camera. I can see that with them pushing the FaceTime and everything. Most likely will be slimmer, thinner. That's definitely something that Apple always tries to do. They try to make it thinner, slimmer, but adding more battery life, adding more, while making it compact, still making it much more powerful, which is really great about Apple and technology nowadays. The smaller, the better, in terms of technology, that is. But anyways, the iPad 2 will also have support for a Retina display. They're guessing, and that's if that's so because that's gonna. I'm not sure if it's gonna have Retina support, but definitely probably a bigger resolution. And last but not least, the iPad will have a non-smudge screen and a gyroscope. I can see the gyroscope being put in just because that's something that they're pushing now in some apps. But a non-smudge screen, probably a better oleophobic resistant type screen, because the iPad 2 the iPad one thing it is you can see very very finger prone if you don't have a screen protector on there, and if you don't clean it with something like a microfiber cloth here, which really does a good job, but still it always tends to get dirty. Anyways, yeah, that's all I want to try to mention about the Apple rumors. There's also talk about the new MacBook Pros will be coming out again. The whole rumors with Light Peak, the new Intel Sandy Bridge processors running around 2.7 gigahertz. The basic rumor talked about that. Beat that horse to death pretty much. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to our next story here on social networking news. Facebook, the Facebook effect on security. So there's an article written over at IT Business Edge, and they talked about how Facebook has impacted, the Facebook and the effect it has on security. And this is something I talked about in the podcast prior, like I said, the Dunksweb Random Tech Chat or TechCast. In the article here, they say it's certainly not because Facebook is immune to security flaws. The site has been, has seen its share of spam. Obviously, it's malicious links, hijacked sites, and third-party problems. Instead, Facebook's model, along with the other social medias, has become the standard of the way we communicate with each other, and that's pretty much true nowadays. It's obviously with the younger people, especially. What do you call that? It's more people have been using. You see people using Facebook more as a tool rather than email, rather than what do you call that? Obviously, calling each other or texting each other now. It's more like Facebook because more people probably more people I know nowadays. Message on their phone on Facebook rather than just text messaging their friend. I guess at other times they're always text messaging too. But it says here, many in the security industry see Facebook model as a new way to shape the new approaches to security implementation. And some other talk about here in the article, they say the security challenges are definitely there. With this easier, open method of sharing information, security personnel need to be more vigilant. Discussions of stronger employee background checks and stricter use of private networking were among the suggestions at the session. Now, and they even talk about stuff here. They say the guy who's talking in the article says he developed an enterprise interface that draws a lot of inspiration from the Facebook employees pages, including the status updates. You, friends, coworkers, you have the levels of administrative access. However, employees don't have universal access, so that's for kind of like Facebook and the workplace and stuff like that. And they have a quote here saying, "College students and young people are driving the change in communication. How they do things on the internet, how they access the internet is changing. Because of that, we're seeing the next generation of applications emerging." And it's a true fact that with Facebook, there's a lot. Privacy is a big topic when you talk about Facebook. Whether it's them changing something, a small thing that may implement a big change in terms of privacy, like the HTTPS thing that they added recently. To make secure site, and a lot of people had some hassle with that because there are some issues here and there. But also the fact that just with these people getting so used to with an internet age, not only my demographic of young kids, but even the adults up from 20 and above. Some people I see on Facebook really see it as an outlet now, where like a lot of people sometimes don't think that. Where they share all this information. I guess it's more common now to, like, as it was back then, to share information. I remember back then where people wouldn't really trust eBay. They wouldn't trust sites like even Amazon, to buy online, just because it may not be trusted because it's coming from a third party source. And nowadays you see more people much more trustworthy on the internet, with services like PayPal, and there's always other great services out there. Obviously scams are still out there on Facebook. I see a lot of spam still. I know I see accounts get hacked and all that. But another big challenge is obviously just how to how to monitor all the security that's going on now, because kids are posting pictures of them, at that one party that one night, and when they apply for a job one day, if a background check ever does happen, and the first thing that they type up is their name, and the employer types up is their name, and they get a picture of you at that party on your Facebook. that may not be the best thing for the job. And actually, we talked about this, like I said in the other podcast, and Duncan made a good suggestion that one recommendation he recommends to you guys, and I would recommend the same thing. If you haven't yet, go out, to any domain registrar and get your name. Get, whatever, maybe adrian.cogurin.duncan.mail, for example, or, whatever you want to make your domain. So that way, and you can make your portfolio, your profile site out of that, and show your links if you have websites, or even if you just your Facebook and your Twitter, kind of make it more clean and elegant. You can use Squarespace, you can use any service that you want to use. You can hand code your website if you want to. But this helps in terms of when people search you up on Google, getting that key results and getting that key search term, and your website being at the top, especially if it's a profile or portfolio website. This kind of, in the eyes of an employer, which I'm sure would be better than getting your Facebook page, which you may or may not want them to see, depending on how your Facebook page is. Anyways, that's a big story there, and Facebook has a huge effect on security nowadays, and privacy. It's a big topic talked about wherever you go. Whether it's Facebook changing a new setting, a small setting, whether it's privacy within photos sharing and stuff like that, or who you can accept and who you don't want to accept type thing. All of that stuff. You can talk about that for days and days to go on. Anyways, I have an article here from Read Write Web that I do want to talk about, and it's talking about YouTube. YouTube.com is in talk to broadcast the NBA games. Now, you've seen some sporting events through YouTube. You've seen some live streaming through YouTube. That's starting to become more predominant as of last year and this year. But YouTube's is in talk with the National Basketball Association and the other major sports leagues, and about winning rights to having live games on their website. And this is gonna be really, really cool, obviously. So, and if Google can outbid the major TV networks who pay hundreds of millions of dollars in a year to get these, obviously to get the contracts to license it and play it on their, the cable television and all that. I know Disney and TNT are halfway through with their contracts for NBA, which is like an 8-year contract. And it's undisclosed and how it'll go on for the other seasons to come. But Google began covering here. So far, they've covered stuff like cricket matches in India. Last year they did that. They also had some other games. I know I've seen some other. I think for the soccer event they had some stuff too. But it's something you see whether YouTube does it officially or not. But you see more people. You see people are really for example, I missed the dunk competition for the NBA All-Star, and I know that I can always go onto YouTube and something like that, anything that's popular in the sports, even if it's a 3-point buzzer shot, it's the Super Bowl halftime show, something's gonna be on YouTube, regardless if it's an official upload or somebody taking their phone and filming their TV screen. It could be as low quality as that, but it's gonna be up there. People are gonna see it one way or another. And YouTube might as well maybe profiting off this and live streaming it, and obviously they're gonna get the views because people love their sports, and if they can Google a sports match instead of getting a live score as it goes by, they can watch it on YouTube live. Maybe they don't have cable, like in my room I don't have cable, for example. That'd be great. That'd bring in more viewers, obviously, and I'm sure they have the bandwidth to do it, and I'm sure they can find a way to incorporate some ads here and there that wouldn't be too bad, because pre-roll ads or whatever it may be, or maybe an ad every 30 minutes or something, which wouldn't be annoying, but hey, if you're getting the NBA game free, why complain? But anyways, I think that's huge news. I think that'd be awesome. We've seen a lot of changes through YouTube lately, some good, some bad, but I definitely think this would be a good one if they can pull it off. So thumbs up for YouTube, and hopefully they get the NBA games broadcasted on there soon. All right, let's go into some Android news. Over at Mashable.com, there's post on how Android 3.0, the SDK, or the software development kit, is now available to all you developers out there. So all you developers who are aiming at Android specific, this is the tablet for, I believe this is talking about Honeycomb. So it says the full software development kit for Android 3.0, or codename Honeycomb, is specifically for tablets, like I said, is now available for developers. The APIs are, I think it was application programming interface, I believe, are final, and the developers are free to create apps targeting Honeycomb and publish them in the Android market. The SDK comes just in time, as one of the first 3.0 sporting tablets, the Motorola Zoom, was recently released. I believe it hit stores yesterday or today, might have been. I think tomorrow, actually. But Motorola Zoom is one of the big products out there that was really popular, I believe, at CES, and I think it's being sold at Best Buy now and other retailers. But if you want to learn more about the SDK, I'll leave a link in the description about the platform highlights. And this is really cool. So if you're a developer for Android or you want to develop for Android, especially the Honeycomb platform for tablets, possible competitor for the iPad with the iPad 2 coming out. You prefer Android, check it out. The SDK is available for you, all you developers out there. Do check it out. I'm not sure how their policy is because I know Apple for developers you have to pay a fee. I think like $99 for a year or something crazy. It's not too bad, I guess, if you want to develop for iOS. But do check it out if you want to become an Android developer. Alrighty, moving on to the next story here from the Download blog. I thought I'd recommend this guys to check this out. Screenshots. It's actually probably try and get those up in the video here of Mozilla 5. So Firefox 4 hasn't even been fully baked yet, but Mozilla's planning out stuff for Firefox 5, just kind of demos and mock-ups. So it says Mozilla hasn't officially announced the future version of Firefox, but mock-ups are coming out, and site-specific browsers are coming to Firefox. So what that is, I believe, Internet Explorer has like the pin sites. Firefox 5, currently called site-specific browsers, one or more of the interesting innovations in IE9, which is actually released. It's a feature that allows users to pin a site-specific icon to the Windows 7 taskbar, and includes a customized option chosen by the site developers. Some of the developers' options Mozilla appears to be considering appear in the following images, and I'll show you these images like IMDb and stuff like that. And basically, this can be pinned to the taskbar or your desktop or stuff like that. It can be clicked and opened in their own little, kind of like, I guess it's kind of like I'm guessing this kind of sounds like what do you call that? A Chrome web app type thing. I'm not sure how it totally works out. I guess it just integrates into the operating system. Some of the stuff is tweaking within the interface. Looks a bit much more cleaner. And the menus are, I think, more condensed, and that's really great because I always use the tiny menu add-on. There's some site-specific tools added to it. So again, just buttons mainly. Also, focus on sync. They are working on promoting Firefox Sync, which is again syncing between all browsers. You can sync your passwords, your history, your bookmarks among multiple browsers or computers that use Firefox. Sync reminders are going to be added in related features. Sync's going to be added to the menu and how to set it up and all of that. This again, Firefox 5 we're talking about, and some other thing, updating the add-on updater. So they're gonna make the add-on kind of more of a universal, nicer way to update your add-ons more easily, and obviously it looks much more cleaner than the current add-on interface. So I believe they don't support like automatic updates because anytime you get a new update, it asks you and you can skip it. It's kind of like an opt-in type thing. But Firefox 4, if you ever checked it out, is really great. Looks much more sleeker than Firefox 3. Sleeker is a word. I'm pretty sure it is. But Firefox 5 is looking great. And again, if you want to check out the mock-ups, I'm going to leave the links in the video description below. Lastly, I believe I have two more stories for you guys. FTC, wow, CrunchGear, I'll talk about FTC later on. CrunchGear wrote an article about how Amazon Prime, I talked about this, Amazon Prime Instant Video now streaming to Prime subscribers. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, this is a quick note for you guys. The service rolled out this morning, seems to work as advertised, as they see here. Click the button and it starts playing, and basically this is just a live streaming platform. This is more kind of competing with the Netflix and stuff like that. But this is going to be, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, I think it's $80 a year. So $80 a year, which nets you into 2-day shipping. It gets you 2-day shipping and I think access to 5,000 streaming content as of right now. So that works out to $6.64 a month, or $135 less each month than than what Netflix offers as of current. So I think there's no word yet if it's going to be on like Roku boxes and stuff like that. I think, there's an update to the blog post here saying that Roku just announced that Amazon Prime Instant Video service is available on Roku. So if you have a Roku box, do check that out. And if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you have access now to all of these videos. So do check that out. Instant streaming live, great 5,000 free videos to check out and stream. All right, my last story of the day is my last Apple story, I promise, and the last story for obviously this podcast. FTC, which is I totally forgot what FTC stands for now. Federal something. Okay, I'll have to look that up. But anyways, the FTC is to examine the Apple's in-app purchases for being too easy. Now, if you haven't seen this before, there's been crazy stories of people buying in-app purchases. Now, you may have seen this, especially within light versions of apps. That's the Federal Trade Commission. There you go. Wow, it's close. Anyways, FTC is going to be examining it because they say it's easier for especially children to be purchasing apps within an app, and that can be leading up to bills, and it doesn't even have to be an app. It can be an add-on. It can be points within a certain game, and that's how some companies use that method to make more money. They may give you a free app and say you can get the full version. You can add this to the game. You add more levels, add a new character, and it may be too easy because, for example, they have this picture here. If you want to buy the Skyway Map Pack expansion for a game that I have, it's called Field Runners, which is actually a great game though. But it makes it as simple as you click a button and you may accidentally click it, and it'll say confirm. A little pop up will come up saying confirm your in-app purchase, cancel or buy button. Pretty much once you hit the buy button, from there on, I think it only asks for your password every 15 minutes, it says here, when you're purchasing the item using in-app purchases, which means if you buy a game and then give the phone to a child to play with, they can wind up racking up the charges, and because it only asks every 15 minutes. So within that 15 minutes, use your imagination. They can buy whatever from X to Z. And I'm gonna admit I've been in that situation where I've accidentally clicked in an app purchase, not on purpose. I just might have accidentally hit a button where it popped up, and I didn't want to buy it, and I almost hit the buy button because I kind of instinctively try to exit out of the little pop up, but may accidentally hit buy because I usually am used to use a yes or cancel type thing. But so those in-app purchases may be a little bit too easy, and again with that whole child aspect where you may hand a game to your child to go play, and they may end up purchasing. And this actually happens. I know a lot of people who have had accidentally bought an app, not knowing it cost this, or had a child buy something that was worth 20, 30, whatever amount of money. And I'm not sure if you can. I'm sure you can contact Apple to get a refund, but again, I'm not sure how that process takes or how long it takes. And before I end the podcast, I was supposed to have a pick ready for you guys, and I actually forgot about that in the show notes. So I think I do have an app for you guys, though, that I wanted to talk about. My iPhone here, where is it? I did not even sort it out. Oh my gosh, where is it? Or is it on my iPad? Sorry, guys. A little delay here. But I do want to mention you guys again, do check out the Dunks Web Random Tech Cast. If you do have time, head over to dunksweb.com. And you can check that out. Again, youtube.com/mobilephone2003. And I do actually have a game for you guys today, and it's called Tilt to Live HD. This one I want to mention, actually. It's on my iPad. I used to have it on my iPhone. Much better on the iPad. Definitely much. I accidentally clicked the home button there. Much more better. Obviously, this is the HD version. This is using your accelerometer to kind of go around, and you avoid these little, kind of looks like germs. And that's what I think they are. Anyways. And what's great is this is free, and you get the full version. And you can pick the mode you're playing in. I know you can't totally see this, but kind of depending on the way you hold your iPad. So in this example, I'm going to be holding it regular. And basically, you just tilt this little arrow around to kind of avoid these red dots. And you have these power-ups around the map here. So I don't know if you guys can see that if I'm trying to stay in focus here. You can't really see, but basically, there's these red dots around the map. You don't want to touch them. You have power-ups around there, laser beams, explosions, ice bombs, all of that. And you can get from, you start out with a couple, like 4 red dots, advances to 30, hundreds of red dots, so it gets more and more challenging. What's great, this game is really, really accurate in terms of sensitivity when tilting. You can slip through the smallest cracks in this game. That's what really interesting. The music's great. It's upbeat, and then you get more and more power-ups, and the red dots form formations like arrows and squares and try to attack you from both sides. It's just a really great game. Again, Tilt to Live. I think it's pretty simple. You tilt, obviously, to live, and I just died right there. So, basically, you try to live as long as you can and escape dots and kill dots in the process. Alright, guys, my mouth is running dry here. Need to get a cup of water. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening to DojoCast 17. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the website at digitaldojos.com and, of course, youtube.com/digitaldojos. Until next week, guys, I'll catch you later.